Your tender heart, your sensitivity is your superpower. And if people tell you that it's not, then I will drive to their house and punch them in the junk. You just let me know the address. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy with Duality Unfolding. So this week I have a pick a card reading for you, and it's essentially asking, what do we do now? So if you have been through anything unexpected, not great, extremely great, really like anything out of the ordinary that you did not see coming, and you're not sure what to do now, like what next steps you need to take or maybe how to move on, then this reading is for you. So I have 4 groups for you to choose from. So each of these cards are the tarot cards that I'll be using in your deck. So group number 1, the card is the Ace of Wands. Group number 2, the card is the Eight of Pentacles. Group number 3, the card is the King of Swords. And group number 4, the card is the Ace of Cups. So as always, take all the time that you need. You're welcome to watch more than one reading. If you feel drawn to the imagery or the illustrations, whatever helps you to pick your reading. Each reading is going to be about what we need to do next in regards to this unexpected thing that's coming for us. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the readings. Hello, group number 1. So you chose this, what is this? This is the Egyptian Nouveau Tarot. And so you chose the Ace of Wands. So let's see what else we've got here for you. Okay, so I've got quite a few oracle cards as well. So let's see what is going on. Okay, so we've got this Ace of Wands, new beginnings. This Nine of Wands card is the Wounded Warrior. So you're ready. You are ready for a fresh start. So the unexpected thing that came up for you is probably some kind of new beginning, or some kind of call to action. Like you're being urged to maybe take an opportunity that's unexpected or new, or you're being given, it almost feels like an out. With this Nine of Wands, again, I said this, this card is the Wounded Warrior. So this person has been through a lot. Like you can see on their face, like they're not happy. They're exhausted. They've got some wounds. They've been through a lot. Each of these wands that are around them, it can be something that happened that caused them to kind of create this boundary around themselves for protection. And this could have happened over time, or this could have happened really like all at once, kind of suddenly. But either way, this person, you feel that it's necessary for you to protect yourself because you've been through a lot. This next card is the Three of Pentacles, which is a card of mastery, and it's a card of collaboration. And so I feel like it's been a struggle to find the right people, that you've been through a lot, and that's kind of made you, it's helped you to realize how much you can handle. It's almost like this mastering of your boundaries, like mastering of how to deal with like chaos and drama and unexpected things, how to deal with like hurts that happen that you maybe don't see coming. But there's a desire like to not be around people that continue to bring that drama or cause that hurt, right? That yes, you've mastered like recognizing who you need to stay away from. You've mastered how to put up boundaries to protect yourself, but you're really looking for like collaboration. You're looking for a group of people that are kind of working towards one goal. You're looking for like-minded people. And we kind of see that like there's a sense of like autonomy in the collaboration that no one here appears to be like an authority figure. They all kind of, they look different, right? They're all dressed different. They're doing different things. And so I feel like you're looking for that kind of environment, right? Where you can just be yourself, but also be in community with people that respect your boundaries, that have their own boundaries. And I totally get that. I feel like that's kind of, isn't that like what a lot of people want that have been through healing, that have like done the work, that, like having that new opportunity to find these people. But what it feels like is that there's, this Two of Swords, it feels like it's been a struggle. Like, do I stay or do I go is really the energy of this card. Kind of feeling, it feels like there's some confusion for you about what do I do? Like, do I leave? Do I start something new? Do I just tough it out because I've been in this for so long? Am I ever going to find these people? And I think that either you're coming into a time where you're spending a lot more time alone, or you need to just take some time to kind of think about what it is that you want and what you need, and just really kind of getting introspective about things, and this card's got the woman with her arms crossed. There's this internal conflict. Her eyes are blindfolded, and it almost feels like follow your heart. Like, you don't need to look at what everybody else is doing. You don't need to look to other people for advice. Like, what you need to do is go inward to get kind of quiet. The moon in astrology represents like our inner world, our psychology, our, the way that we think of things, the way that we process things, like this kind of hidden part of us that like we don't show to everybody, but that really is that part of us that like the place that we go to, when we really have to make those decisions and figure out like, what is it that I really, really want, and so I feel like you're being called to follow your heart on this, and really like the understanding around like why all of this happened. This is the King of Swords. This card is very much about like autonomy and intelligence, and being able to clearly communicate what it is that you want and need and expect, and are willing to give or not willing to give without any apologies. Like, the King of Swords is very strong in who he is. He's very, he knows himself. He knows that when he communicates, that there is intention and purpose and thought behind the things that he says, and that if they hurt other people, it's intentional. And so I don't mean to say that like King of Swords energy is like just to walk around and like slice people with your swords, slice people with your words. Sometimes when we speak our truth, which is what the King of Swords does, people get messages that can be very pointed, right? Like the pointy end of this sword, sometimes maybe we have a conversation with someone and it's like, hey, I really need to spend time by myself because I don't feel like I'm being respected by a lot of the people that I'm around. And so whoever you're saying that to might be someone that's around you a lot, and they might feel like, oh, you think I'm disrespecting you? And it's like, they're not going to ask you that, but they're going to kind of go inward, right? And either feel like offended that you said that because they, would never mistreat you, but it's also their work to do when they're triggered. Any of us, like anytime we're triggered, it's a signal that we need to do our own work. So if somebody else said the same thing to you, that like, hey, I need to spend time alone because a lot of the people I'm around don't treat me well or don't respect me, then, if that triggers you, what is the trigger about? Is the trigger that like, oh, I wish I could spend more time alone because I feel like a lot of people mistreat me too. Okay, so that trigger is inviting you to take action around your boundaries. Or, if your, triggered thought or like the response, the thoughts that come up around, what this person said are that like, oh, does this person think I disrespect them? Like, I'm a good friend. And it's like, okay, so you're being triggered because maybe you aren't, right? Maybe you think that you are the most respectful best friend, but there's a part of you that's like, actually, and that's that shadow part of us. So in the same token, like when we choose to speak our truth and it triggers other people, if we decide to take that on, especially if they don't have a direct conversation with us, if we decide to take that on, that is us being invited to look at our own boundaries. So to go back to that example, if you say to someone like, hey, I really need to start spending a lot more time alone because the people that I spend time with are not respecting me. And somebody's like, oh, do you think I'm disrespecting you? You could turn it around on them, which some people would say this is manipulative. Some people would say this is shadow work. You can turn it around on them and ask them, like, do you feel like you've disrespected me? And they might say no. And it's like, okay. So then, like, am I talking about you? No. Or if they're like, well, I don't know. Like, if I disrespected you, like, you should tell me. And it's like, okay, that's fair, But also, in the midst of having this conversation, like, by saying I am spending some time by myself because I don't feel like I'm being treated respectfully by other people, isn't that a conversation? So a lot of this communication stuff is very nuanced, but a lot of times we don't want to have those conversations or we don't want to share those things because it does trigger us. Because when we are around people that don't respect our boundaries or that don't respect us, it's uncomfortable to have to say those things, right? It's uncomfortable to say like, hey, I think that, I need to find more respectful friends, or I think I need to find a job where they compensate me better, or I think that I need to find another relationship because you have made it clear that you don't respect my needs, right? Those are hard conversations to have, which is, this kind of inward energy, because there's a lot of grappling that can happen with that, right? Where it's like, okay, I need to say this, I need to speak my truth, but is it okay? Are they going to get mad? Am I going to get yelled at? Are people going to think I'm shitty? Do I think I'm shitty? So it's being human is really hard. But, there's a new opportunity that's coming in for you, like an invitation to take action, an invitation to do something differently. And this doesn't have to necessarily be something like huge, right? Like it doesn't have to be a breakup. It doesn't have to be like leaving your friends. It could just be, it could just be deciding that like, I would really like to do something to meet new people. And maybe you take your dog to the park and you go to a park that isn't the normal park you take your dog to, and you just kind of see if there's other people with like a dog like yours, or see if people are friendly there, because you want to meet people that love dogs and have dogs, but aren't gonna like, lecture you on how to take care of your dog, so that you can make new friends, so you can kind of get out of this energy. The same thing with like work, right? Like if you are needing to leave a job, like maybe find a happy hour networking event, or maybe like find a free in-person event that like, I don't know. I feel like there's always like speakers or organizations that will offer free events in hopes that you'll sign up for something later, and so free is always great. And so, signing up for a free thing where you can interact with other people that maybe have like the same kind of career as you, but you're all autonomous, right? Like you don't work for each other, you might not work with each other, but you have like similar knowledge. So you can kind of collaborate and like develop this sense of community, or even just have the chance to interact with other people, right? Because I think that when we are kind of blindfolded in a situation that's really hard for us, it becomes like an echo chamber, right? It's like living in a bubble where it's like we are the, us, and then the people that are already in our circle are the only kind of sources of information. And like that's essentially like an echo chamber, right? If you're the only person in this echo chamber, all you hear is your own voice. But it's like when we've gone inward, all we can hear is our own thoughts, as well as the thoughts of the people that we've allowed to kind of ruminate in our brains. So when we take the time to get out of that bubble and seek out other people, meet other people, interact with other people, sometimes what it can do is it can help us to get clear on what our truth is. You know, that like maybe you have a conversation with people at this networking event, you know, and kind of share a little bit of like your work experience, and they're like, no, that's not standard for our industry, and like you can find a way better job, or actually like for your position you're severely underpaid, like you can find a better job. Or they might be like, oh yeah, we're hiring people that do like what you do, and like if you're interested, like I'm happy to look at your resume and help you apply for the job, or I'm happy to talk to my manager and let them know that like you would be a great fit for the team, you know? So it's like when we get outside of ourselves, then we are able to kind of collect some more information, and that helps us to kind of see, you know, if our truth is being influenced by the people that are kind of in our bubble, by our own echo chamber. So, yeah, I feel like we covered that. And I want to share the oracle cards now. I was going to ask you if you have any questions, like you're actually here. I guess I feel like your energy's like really present, because I'm like, is there anything you want to know? But it's me and no cats. Everybody's napping right now because it's a chilly day. But yeah, so we'll move on to the oracle cards. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I mean, I am, but anyway, okay. So these, let me see. These cards are going to be the things that you need to kind of release or like let go of as you're moving forward. So as you're taking, you know, as you're taking steps, you're moving towards this new opportunity, whatever this is for you. Let's see what you need to let go of. Oh man, surrender comparisons with other people. That's such a, we all have that. But the message is keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. So, like I said, taking that time by yourself to just kind of think about like following your heart, right? Like what is it that I want? Not what do people say that like I should do, or what is everybody else doing? And I think we're all conditioned to follow the herd, you know, especially from the time that we're really small. Like if you went to any kind of like structured public, private school, you know, then everything about that was that like you follow the rules, you do what everybody else is doing. But I think as we grow and we kind of learn ourselves, sometimes comparing ourselves to other people or doing what other people are doing can be really hurtful for us, right? Because it kind of sends this message that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us. We just haven't found those like-minded people yet. So I think when we are able to just keep our eyes trained on ourselves and focus on the positive parts of us, it's much easier for these people to find us. So let's see what else we have here. Okay, so we've got optimism and health. And obviously these are not things to move on from, but how it feels is that as you stop comparing yourself to others, you're going to feel a lot more optimistic about your new situation. And it's going to be really good for your mental health. I think it's going to improve your health a lot, especially speaking up for yourself. It feels like, you know, when we're able to speak our truth and say that we don't like things or we don't want things or things need to change, then we stop getting hurt. We stop feeling like we have to kind of isolate and protect ourselves. Because I feel like this energy, like this 9 of Wands is very much a learning energy, right? That like, we don't know, we haven't learned yet what we need to boundary and protect. And I feel like I don't know if this is part of like being an adult. I don't know if this is something that like collectively as human beings, we're all going through it right now. But to me, it feels like this is something that we all kind of have to learn as humans, that, you know, we have to learn what the things are that hurt us and what the things are that bother us and like what our breaking point is, you know? And so like, as far as needing to protect yourself and like going through the boundary lessons, I think that you're at that, I don't want to say breaking point, but well, yeah, maybe you're at the breaking point of like not implementing boundaries. You're at the breaking point of like no longer wanting to allow people to hurt you, and that like once we start to speak up for what we need, even if we feel like we're going to hurt other people, what that does is it benefits our health, right? Because like for us to take care of ourselves, for us to be healthy, is like to identify what it is that we need, right? So it's like, as we grow up, it's like everybody realizes that they need a different amount of sleep, and some people are like, oh, I'm good with 3 hours. And then other people like me, I wouldn't make it 2 days on 3 hours of sleep. I just wouldn't. Like, even on one day where I only got 3 hours of sleep, I'm going to be cranky. My brain's not going to work. Don't talk to me. There's not enough coffee. But I'm also like an 8 hour of sleep a night person. That's the ideal, right? Usually I get like 7, but like 7 is fine for me. Like some people are like 3 is good, 6 is good, 5 is good. There's other people that are like, I need 10 hours. Like I need a solid 10 hours. I have no social life because I need more sleep. And it's like, it takes time for us to learn what it is that we need. Just like, I think as you get older, you realize like, oh, I can't eat that anymore because it messes with my gut. Or like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. I didn't know that because when I was a kid, I drank milk and I was fine. But now, like, I can't do that. So as we learn how to take care of ourselves, we identify our needs. And so that expands out to how we have relationships with people, how we have interactions with people, where we can start to express like, hey, don't talk to me that way. Or, I don't care to hang out with you because you are really mean and hurtful, and I'm going to go my own way. And it was great to be your friend for this little while, but I can't be your friend anymore. So, yeah. So these are the things that you're kind of, definitely releasing the comparisons to other people, but, you're leaving behind not so great, like mental wellness from allowing people to hurt you, and you're also developing like this optimism around this new beginning that's coming. So for this card, we've got the Sun in Virgo, which may be significant to you, it may not. And then for this card, we've got this Moon in Sagittarius. The wands represent the fire sign. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's obviously the sign of optimism, but it's also, Sagittarius is also this kind of energy around adventure, but Sagittarius is represented by the archer, but the symbol is the arrow. And I feel like the energy of the arrow is Sagittarius energy, where like if you've watched my other videos, you probably heard me talk at length about Sagittarius, but I feel like the Sagittarius energy is the pulling back of the arrow and then the launching, right? So it's not, I think sometimes Sagittariuses can be seen as impulsive, but I don't think that they are. I think that they are comfortable flinging themselves forward once they've decided on the thing that they want to aim at, And so I think whatever this new beginning is for you, like it might happen really quickly. It might feel, to your ego mind that's focused on comfort and predictability, it might feel a little bit reckless, but I feel like it's not. I think that it's out of the ordinary for how you normally act and behave, but this is what the ordinary has gotten you, right? Like continuing to behave in the old way that you have has gotten you these two things, which are, it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not great for you. It's not for your best, highest good. So to get something different, we have to do something different, right? So taking this new opportunity that's going to lead you to find people that value, respect, and enjoy your company, right? Like the Three of Pentacles doesn't look, it's not like the Three of Cups, right? Where they're having like a little party. But I feel like Three of Cups, it can be excess sometimes, right? So I feel like this is much more grounded energy where it's like everything's like the vibe is great. But we don't have this like codependency, right? It's like these people each showed up to do their thing because they wanted to show up, because they know they have things to offer and they value what the other person is offering. So I feel like this is, I mean, it's a pentacle card, so it's associated with earth energy, which is very stable, but this feels really good, right? So taking this new opportunity, finding the people that value you, that you vibe with, and learning how to speak your truth so that you're not in this conflict anymore. So the next couple cards that I have are what you're moving towards. So let's see. Ooh, inspire. Okay. I'm going to put this over here because I feel like this, you know, this inspiration, this Ace of Wands, this new thing is going to bring you inspiration. You know, and this card, we've got some kind of art things going on, right? Like sculpting, there's some architecture plans. Get this fancy outfit. Look at this guy. Look at him. It's fancy. You know, like we don't like fur, but this is also an ancient time, so it's fine. So the next two cards we have are honesty is the best policy, which we need to put over here because King of Swords, he's all about some honesty. And then manifesting is my superpower, which is this Ace of Wands. So, you know, do I need to say anything? Is there anything else I could say here? You know, that like you're learning to speak your truth, and that you're in a place, you're either going to manifest the things that you've been wanting for a long time, or this situation is going to help you realize that like you can manifest things, you know, that it might be that, you know, collaborating with these people that, you know, are good for you is going to help you to see like, oh, okay, like I do have value and I do have power, and like I can be honest and it's still safe, and I can feel healthy, and like I don't have to worry about this happening again because I've learned that lesson, and I want more of what this is. You know, so like bring me more, and that's really manifesting, right? Manifesting is just kind of getting into this feeling of what it is that you want, you know, like feeling, if you're trying to manifest money, like the feeling you want to get in tune with is abundance. Like, what does abundance feel like to you? Does it feel like safety? Does it feel like security? Does it feel like freedom? Does it feel like being able to buy whatever you want and not worry? You know, and like manifesting healthy relationships, like what do those things feel like to you? Is it the ability to be honest? Does it feel safe and healthy? Like, do you feel optimistic and inspired? You know, that's really how manifestation works, is that we try to get into that emotional state that aligns with whatever it is that we're trying to manifest. But that's your superpower. So yeah, group number 1, this has been your reading about what do you do now? You know, what do you do now after whatever unexpected thing came up, or unexpected thing comes up? Because I feel like for some of you, this opportunity might have already happened, but I feel like for a lot of you, this hasn't happened yet. So it's almost like, hey, this is what's coming. This is what's coming. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. Please leave me a comment. Like I said earlier, if you had any questions on any of this, I would love to interact with you in the comments. But I just want to say thank you so much for reading, and thank you so much for reading. No, thank you so much for watching this reading. And I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that this gives you some clarity and optimism that like even if you're in this hard space right now, like it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. So yeah, thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 2. So if you chose this 8 of Pentacles, this is your reading about what do you do now. So let's see what cards we've got for you. Okay, let me get myself sorted out. All right. Interesting. Okay. So you're ready to build wealth. You're ready to build something. This might be like the foundations of a relationship or a life. This might be a career. You might be tired of waiting around to make really good money. You might be tired of just waiting around in general. The Eight of Pentacles is about creating things, creating wealth, creating money, creating something tangible. Seven of Pentacles is an impatience, right? Because he's like kind of staring at these pentacles, waiting for them to grow. But like the saying goes, a watched pot never boils. So I think that you've got kind of this. I my brain says it's anxious energy, but I feel like that's not the right word. It's not anxious like anxiety. It almost feels like anxious like when when like I don't know if you've ever seen videos of this. I've never done this in person because I'm not a fan of hunting, but I feel like whenever I've seen videos of like dogs that are hunting dogs and like the pack is all ready, like you'll have those dogs that kind of like yelp and whine and they'll pull because they want to go, like they're ready to go hunt and catch the thing. I feel like that is your energy. Like you are just ready, you've been ready, and it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like I'm ready. Why isn't this opportunity coming? What is going on? I'm ready for this thing. And what's coming up is another 8. You've got a lot of 8s here. This is interesting. So 8 is the number of abundance. It's the number of infinity. It feels like this is some big life-changing stuff, right? So like you're not just ready for a new resolution to start picking up the pace in 2024. Like you're ready for I feel like you're ready for like a life makeover. You're just like, just burn it all down and let's rebuild it. Like just let me start over. But there's some things you have to walk away from, and that's hard. And I said this in the last reading, but like you can't bring about new results doing the same things. And it kind of feels like this energy, but it's really a little bit different. Like wherever you are now is not where success can find you. And so this is why there's this leaving energy. And we even, like looking at this person, it's a little bit dark. We don't see them, but like the moon is sad. And this is kind of a weird moon, right? Because it's almost like, it's almost like an eclipse, right? Where it's like we've got this moon, this crescent moon here, but is this the sun? Is it, because this is not what the moon looks like. So it almost feels like an overlapping of the sun and the moon. I want to say the next eclipse happens in April, May. So you might want to look at that time frame. You can Google like when the next eclipse is coming, or eclipses 2024, and it'll give you the dates. But because of this weird overlapping celestial stuff, I feel like that eclipse, that time frame is going to be important for you. But where you are is not bearing fruit that matches the energy that you're ready to put in. And so you're being encouraged to move on, to walk away. With this Queen of Cups, I feel like this is really about you taking care of yourself, like learning how to care for you, and like learning what your value and your worth are, right? Because, if you're a hardworking person, you can work wherever you want, right? That if you've got like a good reputation, if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to do the hard things, like you can keep a job. But like the thing is, like, you're not just interested in like getting a job and keeping a job. Like, I feel like you're trying to build wealth. You're trying to build a business. Like you're trying to do something that is difficult, but you don't see it that way. Other people see it as difficult. I think other people are like, oh man, I would never do that. Like I would never do that. Like you could just get like a little job, working, making money, not trying too hard. But I feel like you're like, nope, I'm good with the perseverance. I'm good with the hustle and the struggle. Like, I'm willing to put the work in to lay a solid foundation for this legacy that I want to build, right? So you don't play small, but you're being encouraged to figure out how best to take care of yourself. And like, this doesn't have to do with money. I feel like this has to do, even though this is a cups card and it has to do with love, I feel like this really has to do with your mindset. Like, what are the ways that you can best support yourself when you get impatient, or when you have people repeatedly telling you like, oh, that's really hard. I wouldn't do that. That seems so difficult. And part of that might be like walking away from some people. It might be like not sharing your business with other people. But I feel like you're really being called to figure out like, how do I care for myself? And the way that she's like really intensely looking at this cup that's closed, and this is not like a traditional way to read Queen of Cups, but I feel like there's there's some secret knowledge that like is kind of, I don't want to say locked up, because it's not locked up like you can't access it, but I feel like there's something that like you need to learn, and it's not like a lesson that you need to learn. I feel like it's almost like, I don't know if there's like business management classes that you need to take. To me, this feels like knowledge, and you're really focused on like learning. And whatever it is that you're going to learn, this could be, I don't know, this could be tax information. This could be information on like an LLC. This could be some kind of like course, like I don't know, like, it doesn't feel like a course that like has a certification because you want to show that on your resume. It's like, this is very tangible knowledge that like you need to learn to be able to best take care of yourself and the things that you're building. So I don't know if you are working somewhere and you were hoping that you would learn some of these things from your employer or from your boss. If that's what you're feeling, that this is not it. If maybe you are working for like another small business owner and you're hoping that you would learn some things from them. No. The things that you need to learn are the things that are going to be, it sparks something in you. Like, you're not going to take a traditional, like, you're not going to get like a MBA and feel satisfied with that, because one, you don't need that for what you're doing, but that's not that doing it because you're supposed to do it, or doing it because everybody's done it and that's the way it's done. Like, that doing that gives you this really heavy feeling that like, I'm not like everybody else. I don't want to do it that way. Like, why do I have to do this? And so when you have those feelings of like resistance or almost like apathy, that is an indicator for you that that is not what you're supposed to be doing. When you find courses or information, this could be like a book, this could be an online, this could be a Skillshare course. Like, it doesn't have to fit the traditional mold, but like when you find that course that like you get laser focused on, because look at her. She is like staring this thing down like she's going to open this cup with her mind. She's hyper focused on this. So when you find that course or that seminar, whatever it is for you that like you can't get enough of, that you are laser focused on, that's the thing that you need to be doing. That's the indicator. Like, if you have like this voracious hunger to learn it, if you can't get enough of like the information, if it's all you can focus on and all you can think about, like that is what you're meant to focus on. And then finally, this Eight of Swords card is really like what you're breaking out of. Like, this is what you needed to understand. Like, this is why the unexpected thing that came up, this is why it's happening. And this Eight of Swords is about how we can allow our minds and our thoughts and even the voices of other people that we kind of take on as part of our internal dialogue, you're learning that like that stuff is not helpful for you. What it does is it keeps you trapped and it keeps you stuck. When we look at, and this is just really negative thinking, right? Because like we can have negative thoughts about things and we can believe like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not capable. I'm not this. I'm not that. But we can still take action, right? So like we can be sitting on the couch and decide like, I'm never going to lose weight, and like, I'm not going to ever get in shape, and like, I don't deserve to whatever. And our minds can tell us that, but we still have the ability to stand up and put shoes on and go for a walk. Even if it's like a 2-minute walk, even if it's a walk to the mailbox, right? Because the things that the mind tell us don't have control over the body. They don't have control over our free will. We can still do the thing, even though our brain says that we can't. We can still, just like people say, do it scared. Because the reality of the Eight of Swords is that, the swords are around her, right? Like, and this front part is open. She could walk away. We also can't see if her hands are tied behind her back or if she's just holding her hands behind her back because she's so scared. But she also has these swords around her. So if she really wanted to get free, she could kind of take if her hands were tied up, she could take her hands and kind of rub them against one of these swords until the binding is cut. And then she could take it off and take her blindfold off and see that like she's not trapped, she's not in danger, she's been holding herself there for however long that she's been there. And so this Eight of Swords is about how we trap ourselves. And so the understanding is that like you don't have to trap yourself anymore, right? That like you have a vision, you have a plan, you have a goal, you're obviously ready, but maybe your brain is like, oh, we can't do this. But you're being encouraged to walk away from maybe this negative self-talk, maybe this, the impatience that makes you feel like you need to wait, or like it feels like the blocks are all kind of internal, and they're things that you have allowed to keep you trapped, right? So they could be coming from other people. Like other people could tell you like, you'll never make it, business is so hard, all the negative garbage that people say, but at the end of the day, like we all have free will, and sometimes we forget that we have the power to make the choice and we just listen to people. But you're coming out of that. Yeah. So that's what you need to do. Like, what do you do now? But I pulled some cards for what you need to move on from, maybe what you need to let go of in order to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do in response to this unexpected thing. So, okay. So surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. Eights represent infinity. And 8 and 8 and 8. And in this way, you can remove blocks in your life. What? And succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Okay. Yeah. So scarcity is just that feeling, that belief that like, I'm not enough. Nope, sorry, wrong one. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I'll never have enough. I just have to be patient and wait. I just hope that the universe gives me whatever it thinks I'm worthy of, because I don't think I'm worthy, but you are. But you have this kind of negative self-talk that we don't want to listen to. Okay, and then we've got these other two. So let's see. Okay, we've got quarrel. Interesting. So this is Mars in Cancer. I feel like this one's funny because Mars in Cancer, Mars isn't very strong in Cancer. Mars is the planet of action, but Cancer is represented by the crab. And so crabs move sideways, right? Crabs don't take things head on. They kind of skitter back and forth. And then they have like one claw, that like they can attack with, but it's like you can't move forward directly, and you have a lopsided weapon. So like there's not any real like damage that's happening here. This is kind of, it almost feels like this is the energy of this Eight of Swords, where it's like this little kind of squabbling energy of like, this feels like I'm big mad. That's what it feels like, which sounds silly, but it's also like that phrase is silly, right? Like when you say that somebody's big mad, it's like, oh, you're big mad, so that's this energy where it's like we are in a quarrel and it's like, oh, you guys are gonna thumb wrestle over this thing. Come on, stop, please, I can't. So this Eight of Swords, that's really the energy of it, where it feels bigger and more intense than it is, but really you and your ego, or your ego mind and you, are just having a thumb war about whether or not to take action. So I don't mean to minimize it, but like sometimes sometimes I feel like we have to make a joke out of things, right? Like when we kind of, especially when we realize like what our power is and we start taking our power back, it's like, why did I listen to my ego? Like this thing is an idiot. Like if it had a choice, gosh, I feel like the ego is best represented by, there's like a scene in the movie, I think it's Idiocity, I think is what the name of the movie is, where this guy is like sitting on a recliner and he's like eating stuff out of a tube and he's just like watching TV mindlessly, and then like he gets up because there's somebody else there and you realize that the recliner is a toilet. Like I feel like that's the ego. Like if it could just sit and eat and poop all in the same place every day and not be inconvenienced, that's what it would do. So when we realize that we have more power than our mind tells us, then it's like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Like, okay, my ego is just big mad and I have things to do and you go pout in the corner while I go make this money. Okay. Sorry, rant over. Okay, so this next card is Idealism, which is Sun in Aquarius. And so I feel like this is very much your energy, because Aquarius to me is the mad scientist and the astronaut, right? The astronaut can see everything from outer space. And they're completely fine going out in outer space kind of by themselves, right? Like they don't need their parents to go with them. They're like, yeah, let's go explore. Like we need to learn and there's things we want to share with our community. But also Aquarius is the mad scientist, very intelligent, very innovative, forward thinking, doesn't really need people's permission. Like I don't need you to agree or disagree with me wanting to, cure cancer. I'm just going to do it. And I don't really need your support. I don't need you to, explain like why my procedures work or the science is good or the medicine's good or whatever. I'm just doing this because the ideal is that like people in this day and age shouldn't be dying of cancer when I can just cure it. So I'm gonna go by myself and cure it. I'm gonna do something innovative and different. And people are going to say whatever they're going to say about that. And sometimes I just kind of have to go by myself. Like, nope, Ben agrees. Hi, buddy. I'll be in my lab curing cancer, BRB. So yeah, these are the things that you're kind of being encouraged to let go of, letting go of that scarcity, letting go of the control that the ego has had over you, that your kind of ego mind comfort has had over you. And then also letting go of, putting too much value in like what other people think or say, because they're not doing the things that you're doing. And people just like to talk about stuff. Like I feel like in general, people don't really put a lot of critical thought into the things they say. I think they're just kind of word vomiting, but that's really pessimistic. So, and that's just my opinion. So I pulled cards for like what you're moving towards, like maybe positive things to focus on, a little bit of encouragement. For some reason, 3 came out. I was trying to pull 2, but this extra one was like, I gotta go with the guys. Okay, so empathy. Okay. Interesting. And then we've got this moon here. Okay, so I think what I'm feeling is that as you're leaving these things behind, be kind to yourself. Like it's hard to walk away. It's hard to go it alone. And just because, you know, you are innovative and you want to do new things and you don't have any problem working hard, it doesn't mean that it's hard by yourself sometimes, right? And so just being kind of kind and gentle to yourself, I feel like that's also this Queen of Cups energy that like, sorry, I'm itchy. That we can be strong and soft, right? We can be kind to ourselves and be laser focused on what our goal is. So yeah, make sure that you're gentle with yourself. Maybe, you know, there's a lot of water here. Maybe bathing is good for you. Bathing's good for all of us. But like taking a bath, right? Soaking, or like if you have access to like a pool or a hot tub or something, staying hydrated, kind of getting some quiet time, maybe out in nature. This is kind of this nighttime scene, maybe sleep, you know, just kind of being aware of how much sleep that you need. Hi, Ben. Hi, buddy. Okay, so then we've got these other, Ben, please stop, buddy. We've got these other oracle cards. So it's okay to feel what you need to feel. Very much Queen of Cups energy. Clear your karma. Clear your karma. I don't know why I said it like that. And then I am filled by love. Okay, I need to put this here. Big Queen of Cups energy. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Lovely. So, yeah, I feel like I don't know what else to I don't know what else to say. That like you're definitely very, very much supported. You know, be kind to yourself. Oh, I am fulfilled by love. Did I say that? Or did I say filled by love? Either way, you everybody loves to feel loved, you know, and then as the Queen of Cups, she's all about love. So maybe you're filled with love, maybe you're fulfilled by love, maybe both. But this unexpected thing is going to push you to do the things that you know you've wanted to do for yourself, but weren't sure. You know, you weren't sure if you could do it, because what if there's not enough? What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't have enough? What if I don't know enough? And you're gonna call in the things you need to learn. You don't have to listen to your little crabby ego. And you have a lot of really positive support, right? That the universe is like, take care of you, be kind to you. You know, feel your feelings. Make sure that like you're allowing the people that love you to love you, and that the more that you move towards the thing that really you're wanting for yourself, like that, this karma it's going to get cleared. And I feel like a lot of times like our understanding of karma just has to do with this life, and I think that your karma, especially with all the eights, I feel like your karma is really something that like has come with you like into each reincarnation, and that you're kind of clearing this karma that has really kind of been rooted in whatever has held you back. You know, that like the karma that you're clearing is to live your best life, to live your best soul's incarnation in this lifetime, and to break free of this. That like you don't have to hold yourself back anymore. Like you have the wisdom and the knowledge and the, I don't want to say power, because I feel like that's such a weird word to use, but like you're ready. You're ready. You don't have to stay stuck in this anymore. So yeah, group number 2, that has been your reading. If you enjoyed the reading, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. I'd also love if you left a comment if you have any questions, or if you just enjoyed it, or if you become a millionaire and you just want to let us know that you are a millionaire now so we can cheer for you, because that's amazing. But yeah, I hope this reading was helpful for you, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. So if you chose this King of Swords card, this is your reading. So let's see what else we have for you. Okay. Oh, interesting. Let me move these down here. All right, you got a couple reversals in here, which is good. I feel like these are positive. Okay, so what do you do now that this unexpected thing has happened? King of Swords is about truth and autonomy and communication. So the King of Swords doesn't have any problem speaking his needs, doesn't have any problem sharing his input. I don't want to say opinions. I feel like King of Swords is very calculated with his words, very intentional with his words. So he doesn't just like spout off and say things. We can see like there's a very deliberate energy with how he speaks, right? Especially like the way he's holding this sword. Like he's gripping it all four fingers. Like he's not going to drop it. He's not wielding it around carelessly, like very intentional, forward facing. There's a seriousness to this energy. And it feels like in the past, there was like a hesitance, you know, because like Knight of Pentacles is a slow moving card, but with it being reversed, I feel like it's especially slow. So like, or not especially slow, well, maybe, but also there's like, it feels like there's this, it's not indecision, like we're holding ourselves back, right? Like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to go. Like that, you know, what do I do? What do I do? And this Knight of Pentacles, he's not moving. You can see it's very still, right? The horse is still, he's still. They're kind of tangled up in these thorns or whatever they are. It almost looks like they've grown around the skeleton of the horse. So this is full stop, you know, and Knight of Pentacles is slow, but this guy is a full stop. And so with it being reversed, it feels like you're done being stuck, right? That like you are ready to speak your truth. And it might just be like that you need to identify what your truth is, right? Maybe you're kind of figuring out mentally like a plan for yourself that like, I'm done with this. How do I move forward? Like, you know, like, okay, what do I do? Right. And then we've got this Three of Wands. So we've got this little, what is this? It's like I don't know what this is. I think it's a vulture, but, I'm reading the picture. So I think this says projects and virtue, which is kind of interesting. But this Three of Wands is a card of management. And so to me, what it feels like is very much like you're making a plan, right? Like you're gonna make a plan, and it's the energy. You have a couple kings here. Like the energy of King of Swords is deliberate, right? Like we said, deliberate. Like he's not messing around. You know, he's holding this very intentional. And so the plan that you are creating, the plan that you're taking time to develop, this projects and virtue, very interesting, is one that you're developing a plan and you're calculating for success. And so I feel like with this King of Swords energy, like sometimes like we don't like the word calculated. We don't like the word like strategy, but I feel like that's very much the energy that you have come into as a result of like, okay, what do I do now? Right? So it's like, I need to buckle down and come up with a couple different plans. And once I find the one that is beneficial and fruitful, because we've got these flowers, these things growing out of these skulls, like when things are dead, like stuff doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it can't grow more. Right? So it's like the skin isn't going to grow back, but as these skulls decompose, flowers can grow up out of them. And what it feels like is, you know, you're taking the time to make this very deliberate plan, and the one that looks like it will be most successful is the one that you will move towards. And like you won't move till you're ready, but when you're ready, it's like full steam ahead, right? Because we look at this King of Wands, again, this king energy is very deliberate, secure, confident, King of Wands has, he and it doesn't just have to be a man, but the energy of King of Wands is experience, know-how, learning from our previous mistakes. Like King of Wands doesn't fail. And I don't say that to like make you feel pressured, but this, whatever this thing is that happened, you know, like this energy of what do I do now, it very much feels like you're done fucking around. like that's how it feels, is like, you know, like, okay, I'm done playing small, I'm done with this little piddly nonsense. Like I'm ready to go big. There is no go home. Like I'm just ready to go big. I'm ready to succeed. I'm ready to quit doing the dumb shit we were doing before that didn't get results. I'm over it. And I say that because we've got this Devil in reverse. And so the Devil card can represent temptation. It can also represent, in my opinion, this kind of really negative inner dialogue, right? That like the mind isn't always our best friend. And this can represent somebody that like tempts you. This can represent addiction. There's a lot of different things, but it's to me, the Devil is a significant roadblock. You know, it's meant to stop you from getting where you want to go. It's meant to control you. Like we've got these little mariachis that are like puppets. You know, he's like a puppet master. But because this is in the reverse, like with these two kings, to me, what it feels like is like I'm done with this nonsense. Done with it. Done with these maybe friendships that aren't for your best highest good. Done with the job that you don't get paid enough at. Done with, and I feel like this is a big shift. So you might be moving, like you might be like, I am done with my old life. I want to move and start fresh and not have distractions. And like, yeah, it almost feels like when, and I don't know why this just feels like, it's like, it feels like a young man that hasn't left home yet, but they're kind of at that age where like all their friends are starting to get in trouble and it's just like not fun anymore. Like, yeah, we graduated high school and like, you know, we have jobs and we're old enough to drink and we have some money, but like, I don't like hanging out in the bar and like seeing people get into fist fights. Like, I don't like, you know, loaning you money because you wasted all yours and like I'm the responsible one. Like I'm just ready to move to a different town where I don't know anybody, so I can just create my own fresh life because I know I can come home anytime I want to, but I don't want to stay here because it's not good for me. It's not benefiting me in any way. It's kind of really just holding me back. So it's like that's that energy. It feels very much like an intentional up-leveling that, you know, you're ready to grow and expand and change and evolve. And so whatever unexpected thing has happened for you that you're not sure what to do now, it has happened to you so that you can grow. Like this, it's really a blessing. And I don't want to say blessing in disguise because I feel like there's part of you that knows, right? Like this kind of inner wisdom, it's been ready. You know, and then the part of you that is kind of tired of like the little drama and nonsense, like it's also ready. So I feel like this is just a blessing. There's no disguise about it. It's very obvious to you. So I've also pulled oracle cards for you. So the first couple that I have are cards for like things that you need to leave behind, or things that like you need to let go of. So we've got, okay, surrender, procrastination. I like that it was upside down too, because, you know, just like this kind of stuck energy, I feel like I can't because I don't want to. I feel like that's like the ultimate procrastination energy, at least for me. Like whenever I know I'm procrastinating, it's like, oh, I need to do this, but I can't because I don't want to. But surrender procrastination. The message is now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. So, we got this guy and he's like, let's get it. Let's go. So in the times that you kind of feel like I can't because I don't want to, just remember your little inner King of Wands that is ready to move on from this nonsense. And I really feel like that there's not a whole lot of surrendering that you need to do because you're tired of being stuck. Like you kind of, the stuckness almost feels like being trapped. And like when we feel trapped, like we want to get out of it. Like we don't want to just like stay comfortable being trapped. Like that's not how being trapped, like feeling trapped works. Feeling stuck doesn't, it's not like, oh, this is comfy. I'll just lay in this stuckness all day. Like, no, like you're ready to go. You're ready to climb these steps and move on and take action. Okay, and then the next two are extremism. Interesting. And then this publicity card that's upside down. So to me, this publicity card in reverse, it feels like you're afraid of showing up. You're afraid of being seen. And I feel like that really has to do with this devil card. There might be people in your life that are, I don't know what the right word is for it. It makes me think of like in Australia, they have the tall poppy syndrome. And we've got a lot of red here. And so the tall poppy syndrome is that whenever there's, a field of poppies, like whenever there's one that's taller than the other, they cut it so that like it genetically learns not to stand out from the crowd. And so it's kind of a cultural reference to Australian culture. And I think there's other European countries that are very much like that, where it's like, it's bad to seek attention, like just blend in, and I'm sure that that's kind of rooted in like socialist government, socialist economy, where it's like everyone's even. But that fear of being seen, that fear of being kind of in the public eye, whatever public means for you, like, I feel like can very much come from these people that you may have had around you, right? Because like a lot of times when we have people around us that are not interested in our best good, they don't want us to change. Like, why don't you want to come to the bar? Why don't you want to do this? Why don't you want to party? Why don't you want to do all the fun things that we always did? Like, why are you changing? And I feel like a lot of that has to do with them being triggered, because it's like, if we are the same, but you start growing and improving and I don't want to, then that means I'm bad, because that's what I'm telling myself, right? And that's not that, that has nothing to do with you. Like, that's not what you're saying. Like, you're not trying to grow and change because you want to be better than these people. Like, you want to grow and change because you're tired of being stuck. You're just over the stuckness. And so this extremism card, it kind of feels like the same energy too, where it's like, you might catch some judgment that like, oh, why are you doing all these things? Like, oh, you don't have to move. Like, that's such a extreme move. Like, that's such an extreme decision to make. You don't have to do that. And so, when you kind of get this not great feedback from people, I would encourage you to really kind of analyze and think about like, what is part of my intent and my deliberate action, right? So it's like, if part of my plan, if part of my intention is to grow and become a better person, then like, why am I afraid for people to see me as someone that values growth? And like, why am I listening to people that are kind of shitting on that like it's a bad thing? Because it's not, right? We all evolve and grow and change, except for the people that don't. And the people that don't kind of get left behind, right? And so I feel like some of this like triggering stuff that's coming up is very much like this devil energy, where your choices might trigger other people, and that's not your work to do. You know, just like, yeah, I feel like I'm having a hard time with the words because I think that there's not anything to say in response to those people, right? So like when those comments come up, those questions come up, like you don't have to respond to it. Like you are entitled to make your own choices, and I feel like you know that. So you don't need my examples of like why to say this or what to say or like how to deal with it. It's you're ready. You're ready to not be stuck, and whatever they think about it is what they think about it. Almost like that's not my business. But hey, you guys do what you gotta do, I guess. So these last couple cards are what you're moving towards. So this first one is approve. Interesting. Okay. So approving of ourselves, right? Approving of maybe not seeking approval, or maybe just like you being the approval authority for your own life. Because I feel like really that's, I mean, what else do we need? Right? It's like, you're not paying my bills. You're not paying my paycheck. So like, what is your opinion doesn't matter to me. Okay. And then we have, you are worthy and you are a divine facet of the universe. And we've got all these little pieces, which I really love. Okay. I see what it is. So like the universe is already approved of you. The universe is already supporting you, you know, that you're done procrastinating, you know, with this king energy, that you already know that you're worthy, and that you've got this divine support to do the things that you've decided, so it's like the universe is going to help you get unstuck by helping you to just not feel the need to procrastinate anymore. You're going to come up with a really intentional, positive, almost fail-proof plan is how it feels to me. And that, when these people kind of talk the shit that they talk, that we don't need to say anything. There's nothing, it doesn't matter. You don't need their approval because the universe has your back. Like you already know that you're supported. So I mean, what else do we need, right? This is you're ready. You're ready. I think you might have known that you were ready for a little bit, but there's little human things that kind of get in the way or that distract us. But group number 3, this has been your reading on what to do. Now that this unexpected thing has come up, and I feel like maybe you were kind of just waiting for this unexpected thing to happen so that you could kind of launch into this energy of creating the plan and moving forward. It feels like you've been ready. So group number 3, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was insightful and helpful. And if you enjoyed the reading, I would love it if you would like and subscribe, as well as like leave a comment if there's any part of it that you really enjoyed. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 4. So if you chose this Ace of Vials, which is the Ace of Cups, this is your reading. So let's see what we've got for you. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. So what I'm getting here is, excuse me, that this has for some of you, this might have to do with a relationship. For others of you, this feels like the unexpected thing that happened was a really significant disappointment, right? There was a lot of hurt around this, some kind of sadness, some just, it's not a great situation, and I'm really sorry, because I think it sucks when we're in pain. And that's like the hard part of being human, right? Like, that we have to experience like really deep pain, deep loss, you know, that we grieve. And this reading's hard, because it is not, I feel like sometimes I struggle with readings where I need to tell you things that come across as harsh, and I don't mean them to. So, and I say that because this thing that was taken away needed to be taken away, and that there was a part of you that knew it wasn't going to last, which doesn't make it hurt any less. Also, like, when I say that there's a part of you that knew it wasn't going to last, I'm not saying that like you should have known better. That is not what I mean at all, because we experience things, and that's how we learn. But also, like, that kind of wording of, oh, I should have known better, like, it's really self-blaming, and that's not fair, because we can't know what other people are going to do, right? Like, we can't predict other people's behaviors. We can't predict every situation. Like, we might have experience to draw on, and we might not, right? So like this heartbreak situation, this disappointment, like, really, it's whatever this thing is, whatever this unexpected thing is that came up, it created a lot of grief for you. But it was removed. It happened because what you were in was not for your highest good. And so that space could be cleared for something so much better to come in. You know, we've got these cups cards, right? So Ace of Cups is the universe offering us love. And this can be, for some of you, this can be romantic. For some of you, this can be just learning how to accept love from other people. And love looks different for all of us, right? That sometimes love can be something as non-romantic as, hey, I know that you were trying really hard to, you know, do this experiment or create this thing, or like, you know, work in the lab to solve something, and I'm so sorry that it didn't work out the way that you had planned. Like, I'm so sorry. Sometimes it's really hard for us to receive like those words of kindness from people, you know, and that a lot of times I think because of that, we grieve in private. Like, we hide, just like this person's hiding their face. Like, we hide our grief away. We don't want people to see us in those difficult moments. I think because we haven't learned to love ourselves yet, which is what makes it hard for us to receive love from other people. For some of you, it can be like romantic heartbreak, right? That like there was someone that you maybe thought you were going to spend forever with, or someone that turned out to be much different than the way they presented themselves, and that can be really hurtful too. But there was a divine element of this that removed that person, not to cause you pain. And unfortunately, they removed that person knowing that there would be pain. But pain is a really great teacher. It's not our favorite, but like when we go through really painful things, as human beings, we don't enjoy pain, right? So it's a very strong teacher, in that the things that hurt us make us not want to do those things again. And it's not necessarily that like we don't ever want to love again. Maybe for a little while we don't, right? While we're healing. And if you're grieving and healing, you need to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself, the things that are best for you. But sometimes, you know, when we experience pain, it's a teacher for what we don't want anymore, what we're ready for, you know, the new things that we're ready to have come in, like a different type of love, or a different type of relationship experience or a different type of friendship or whatever, like this new thing, this different thing is for you. Because when we look at these two cards, right, we've got these cups that, you know, we've got these cups that they're little beakers, right? And there's some liquid in here that looks like maybe it's like blue, or maybe that's the glass. It's kind of like a reddish color, like a burgundy color. And then we've got this Ace of Wands that comes in and it's purple instead, right? And so to me, what this feels like is like red reminds me of blood, like, you know, of the blood that we all have running through our veins. You know, but purple is like this color of like the crown chakra, right? So what it feels to me like is that there's this spiritually influenced love that's coming in to replace this more kind of earthly love. And so what this feels like to me is it reminds me of numerology, because like the number 6 in numerology has to do with like earthly human love. And then the number 7 in numerology has to do with spiritual love, right? And so what it feels like is that like you had this loss around something that was very like kind of earthly. And I feel like these are such like weird esoteric terms, so I apologize if it doesn't make sense. This almost feels like a little bit of like an immature, inexperienced love, right? Like sometimes like when we have relationships, like we have to learn like how we want to be loved by other people, how we want to be cared for, because, you know, sometimes we don't know, right? Like we are born into families and our families love us the way that they love us. And when we're little, we don't know how to express our needs, and it takes a while, you know, sometimes it takes 20, 30, 40, maybe even more years to figure out how to express like what we need. And I feel like this heartbreak that you went through is an experience for you to learn exactly how you need to be loved and how you want to be loved, so that, you know, the universe can bring in these new people that when you meet them, you can draw on that wisdom. You know, the diviner is the high priestess. She's got her eyes covered with whatever this is, but her third eye chakra is wide open. And so when the universe brings you this new love, this new relationship, this new friendship, whatever it is, you, because you experience this earthly love, like you will know how you want to be loved in a very divine and deep, and it feels like wholesome way. Maybe holistic, wholesome, holistic. They're very different words, but it feels like that. Like it feels almost like they're the same thing for you for love, right? To be holistically loved, to be loved as a whole person, but also to have this really wholesome love that it's not deeply rooted in like sex. It's not deeply rooted in like what they can get from you. It's not kind of siloed into like one thing, which I think is kind of how we are taught to love, right? That like that looks are important, or like sexual compatibility is more important, or like you have to do this, or you have to have the same hobbies, you have to have different hobbies, like all these different things. I feel like that's very much this like earthly love, but this divine love, it's much different. And so I feel like when you are ready, like once you've completely grieved as much as you need to grieve, which is up to you, however long you need to take, like this is just waiting, right? So it's almost like the way this water bottle, this vial is kind of floating in the water in this heart shape. Like it's just there. It's just waiting for you to give the signal that like you're ready to open your heart. And once you do, once you're ready to welcome in this like divine love, this divinely guided love, it's going to happen very quickly. So the 8 of Candles is the 8 of Wands, very fast moving energy. Again, we've got the purple here. So purple, purple, purple. And all the kind of, it's not even fire, right? It's like this water energy, which is very interesting for a Wands card, right? For candles. Candles don't make water. But we've got, you know, this cup's energy. And so when you're ready to welcome in this divine love, it's going to happen very quickly. It's just going to come in, and, you know, like you're going to ruminate, kind of swirl around, like be in the energy of this other person or people. And then it's just going to kind of take off. And so what this can look like is, you know, if it's a romantic relationship, you might meet, go on a couple dates, and come into like deciding that like, yep, we're a couple, you know, or this might be that like you go hang out somewhere and you like meet some people, and then they invite you to hang out the next day. And then from there, you guys are just like BFFs, you know, and like these people are your community. It just feels really, it just feels really lovely, I think, because this energy is so heavy. And like the reason that all of this is happening is it's this Knight of Pentacles card. And so it's, or the Explorer of Tomes. Tomes are books, which are represented by, you know, or tomes are pentacles. But in this deck, they're books with these little pentagram shapes that are on the traditional pentacle coins in the traditional tarot. I don't know why I can't talk. I apologize. But there was a lot of things that like you needed to learn about you, that you needed to learn about people. But I feel like mostly it was this, it feels like a one and done lesson. And so I feel like that's really lovely, because I'm someone that has to learn the hard way. I'm not a one and done lesson. So I'm a little jealous that you are, but I'm happy for you that, you know, that you needed to go through the experience of kind of these like earthly, maybe superficial, immature relationships, whatever, however you want to categorize it. It feels like there's a lot of inconsistency here. It kind of feels chaotic too. Like when we look at this like wallpaper, it's like all crazy looking. But you needed to go through that experience because you learned a lot about love and relationships and friendships. And, you know, deciding that like you're not going to do that again, right? That like you, in your grief, in the time before you welcome in divine love, you know, like you really thought about things and kind of studied things in a way, like studied love and relationships and even studying yourself, because you don't, when this is done, you don't want to do this ever again. Right now, you might not want to do this ever again. You know, so if you're feeling like, I don't want new love, I don't want a relationship, that's totally fine. You're still in the grieving process, and you can be there as long as you need, as long as it takes you to learn what it is that you want to learn about this situation. And whenever you're ready, there's absolutely no rush. It can be days, weeks, months, years, decades. But whenever you're ready, the universe has this really beautiful divine love that's yours, that's waiting for you. Yeah, and I'm just feeling this kind of overwhelming, like take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time to heal. Take your time to learn. Take your time to do the things that you need to do. And when you are ready, then you'll be ready. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. There's not, yeah, I feel like we kind of live in this world where everything has to happen so quickly, but this is, nope, this is not saying that. It's like, this is, when we look at, this is suspended. She's suspended in space. These candles aren't burning, you know? So it's like, there's no rushing. There's no hurrying here. It's like, this is yours. And we just keep it in a safe space in the vast expanse of the universe until you are ready to receive it. So you do what you need to do to take care of this. So yeah. Okay. So now I have a couple cards for you about what, what you kind of need to let go of, what you need to move away from, just to kind of help with the, like, what do I do now? So, okay, This one's in reverse. Surrender low self-esteem. You deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Okay. And I feel like this is going to come with the healing, right? That part of this learning experience is learning that you weren't treated very well, and the maltreatment is not a reflection of you. The maltreatment is a reflection of that person. You know, that like there's a book called The Four Agreements, and I read it a while ago, and it's a really powerful book. It's very brief, so if you haven't read it or looked at it, like I would highly recommend even just kind of Googling it or buying it to read it. But one of the most profound things for me in that book, because I was someone that had low self-esteem from not great relationships for a long time, was the author said that we will never allow anyone to treat us worse than we treat ourselves. And so for me, that was very true. And that was a really hard thing to learn. But also what it taught me is that the people that are mean and cruel and like shitty in this world to us, that is just a small fraction of how they are to themselves. And so I feel like that understanding helped me to realize, like, when people don't treat me well, they treat themselves worse. And this is not about me. Because I think as I worked to kind of like heal and resolve like the maltreatment that I was speaking to myself, because a lot of my stuff was like negative self-talk and negative self-belief, what I realized was that, like, as I did the work to start to like love myself and regard myself as like valuable and worthy and lovable, when people were shitty to me, the words didn't hurt as much because they weren't true to me anymore, you know? So it's like, I think for a lot of us, like we live in a world that like really values our looks, right? That like, especially for women, like we have to be young and thin and, always be happy. Right. And for men, it's like you have to be muscular and have a six pack and make a bunch of money. And so it's like when people, like when we don't value ourselves outside of those things and people tell us like, well, you're ugly, then it's like, oh, I am. And now I don't like myself, you know, versus like if we know that, like, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not the most beautiful woman in the world, but I feel like I think that I look okay. Like I think I have a pleasant, you know, face, and like I have learned how to love my body, even though it's not perfect, but it's strong and it's mine, and it's got me through a lot of really hard shit, you know. And so if someone was to say like, oh, you're, you know, like you're fat and ugly, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, maybe you just shouldn't look over here anymore. I don't know what to tell you because I'm not changing anything, you know. But it's like when we learn to love ourselves and have like this, when we set these intentions that we deserve to be loved and respected and treated well because we love ourselves, because we find value in ourselves. When people are shitty to us, it's like, okay, cool. Well, thanks for showing me who you are, and just keep it moving. I'm not interested. So, very long rant about that, but you're worth so much more than what you experienced here. And yeah, and as you learn more about yourself, as you go through this like healing learning process, you'll see that like you're amazing because you have people around you that just adore you. And if you're not sure what's great about you, I would invite you to ask those people that care the most about you, the ones that check in on you, that are like, hey, you're okay? Do you want me to bring ice cream? Do you need a hug? You know, fuck that person. Like, do you want me to drive to their house and punch them in the junk? That's me. That's how I support my friends. I'm like, whose house do I need to drive to punch them in the dick? I'll do it. I'm short. I'm already low to the ground. I'll do it. So yeah, the people that you know love and care about you, and the times that you're not sure, what your value is or why you are worthy, then you just ask them and you remember the things that they say because they love you. Yeah. So the next two cards that I have are fulfillment and criticism. Okay. So I feel like you don't need to necessarily let go of fulfillment, but I feel like when you start to let go of the criticism that you hear, it might have been from whoever broke your heart. It might be from your inner critic, like things that you've absorbed from other people, that you allow to kind of play in your mind. As you start to release and let go of these things, what you'll find is that you'll have more fulfillment in yourself, like that you will be able to see, you'll be able to see your value and your worth as you let go of that criticism, let go of listening to that criticism, and then also surrendering that low self-esteem, because you have a very soft heart, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that is a superpower. I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're too sensitive, and like all this, they try to make it sound really negative. But I think that like we never tell people like you're not sensitive enough, but what we do tell people, which is kind of in the same vein, is that like you lack awareness, and so I feel like people that are very sensitive are just more aware. And people that are not sensitive at all are very unaware, and so like that awareness, that sensitivity is your superpower. And a lot of people are sensitive in a lot of different ways, that you can be physically sensitive, right? That you can have an allergy to something, and when you just have a little of it, it makes your throat itchy because your body is sensitive to that, so we kind of look at emotional sensitivity as bad, but like if you have a food allergy and you're really sensitive to like peanuts or coconut or something like that, then it's like, well, we have to make exceptions for you, right? So it's like we live in a world that is like, oh, like this is okay and that's not okay, but it's the same thing. So your tender heart, your sensitivity is your superpower. And if people tell you that it's not, then I will drive to their house and punch them in the junk. You just let me know the address. Okay. So the next cards are cards that are for the direction that you need to move in, like some positive things for like what do you do now, as well as like some encouragement. So everybody else got one, but these three like just they had to come out together, so I'm excited to see what they are. Okay. Oh, this is lovely. So I feel like these are some really great healing things for while you're kind of allowing yourself to grieve, which is just to kind of ponder. I feel like it's such a kind of like a little hokey doke word. But really this is just imagining, right? Like just kind of imagining, visioning, manifesting what you would like to bring into your life, right? And that can be something as tangible as like, I just want to have 10 minutes where I'm not sad. You can ponder on that. Like, what would I do for 10 minutes if I wasn't sad? Like, I'd watch cat videos and I would giggle, and then, things would be less heavy. And then there's immersion, and then creativity or create. So I feel like as these are, it almost feels like this is like a little plan, right? Like a step by step that like allow yourself to like ponder and wonder and imagine, and then kind of get immersed in that little world that you've created for yourself, or that you're starting to imagine for yourself, so that you can start to create things to build the world that you want, to build the life that you want, to build the relationships that you want. So I feel like I see now why these three came out together, because it was like, no, we're the 3-step plan. You can't separate us. Like, we have to come out together. So I feel like it's really beautiful. And like the imagery all goes as well because it's all water, right? That like this is this kind of world in a bowl. This is a picture of water, which there may be water in here. And then this is like an actual like little, I don't know, little pool inside of this kind of treasure chest. So it feels like, you're going to be imagining what you want for your life. You're going to get immersed in that kind of imagining process, and then you're going to create it and bring it to life. which is like, that's amazing. That's amazing, right? And that's healing. I feel like that's healing, that we let ourselves grieve and then we start to daydream and imagine and manifest like what else it is that we want, what we want next. Yeah. I love that. Okay. So then your last two cards are, ooh, okay. Yes. Big yes to this. I call back my power. And then devotion unites me with the infinite. So when you're ready, when you've done, your grieving and your healing, the things that you learn are going to help you to call back that power. The things that you learn about yourself and the things that you learn about how you need to be loved, that's going to help you to call back your power away from the people that don't treat you the way that you deserve. Devotion unites me with the infinite. Like, I feel like this divine love is very much like it has the energy of devotion, right? And so I think devotion is wanting to give, invest, build with another person for the purpose of creating something together, right? Like when we devote our time to something, we are wholeheartedly giving our time to that thing. Our attention's not everywhere else. Like, it's like, okay, I'm going to devote an hour to studying, which means maybe I don't have my phone with me. I go someplace that I'm not going to be distracted, and I've set a timer so that, I make sure that I get that full hour in of solid study time. And so like that devotion is really that kind of focus. So I feel like this kind of divine relationship, divine love, is very, very much rooted in devotion. And like it talking about like it unites me with the infinite. I feel like spirit, God, source, whatever higher power, like however you describe it, that is the infinite. And so when you're ready to devote yourself to healthy love, to divine love, to higher love, you're going to come into this kind of infinite like expanse. Like it just feels like, it feels like when you experience this love, it's almost like the things that people have written throughout history about love, or like movies that are made about love that didn't make sense before, or even like poems and books and the way that people talk about love, but you've never experienced, those things all start to make sense. And it's like, oh, this is the love that they talk. This is the love that makes people write plays and sonnets and paint art and want to have babies and things like that. Like, I feel like that's the kind of love that is there for you when you are ready. And again, no rush, right? That this is all, even these four, they're kind of, there's like this floatiness to it, and even this water, like when we look at this water, this new life you're imagining, it's very still. The water's not running out, even though like these are very full, right? Like water shouldn't fit in a page. It should be running everywhere. All these things, like all this love that's here is just kind of just hanging out in the ether for whenever you're healed and you're ready, and you're prepared for it. So no rush. But group number 4, that's been your reading. So I hope that this has been like insightful and helpful, for what you can do now that this unexpected like heartbreak or disappointment has happened, this unexpected loss has happened. And I hope that this was really helpful for you. I hope that it was comforting, because I feel like that's, in the times that we are in pain and we're grieving, that's really like what we need. We need a little bit of comfort and support. So I hope that this reading provided that for you. If you enjoyed the reading, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. If you'd like to leave me a comment, I would love that as well. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.